Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping into something I think is really important: how a few simple daily rituals can lead to what's known as emotionally healthy spirituality. So let's get right into it. So let me just start by asking you a question. Do you ever feel like you're doing all the right spiritual things? You're serving, you're praying, you're showing up, but deep down you still feel kind of anxious or just plain tired and disconnected? If any of that rings a bell, I promise you, you are not the only one. It's this super common feeling, being spiritually active on the outside, but emotionally drained on the inside.
And this really boils down to two very different postures we can take in our lives. On the one hand, you've got doing for God. This is all about activity, performance, and what things look like on the outside. But on the other hand, there's being with God. And this is totally different. It's about presence, relationship, and what's going on internally. A lot of that drained feeling we just talked about, it comes from living almost entirely in that first column.
And this is what leads to what we can call the spiritual emotional gap. It's that, frustrating feeling when our spiritual life feels like it's over here, and our real, messy, emotional life feels like it's way over there. And the two just don't connect. So what does this gap actually look like in real life? Well, see if any of these sound familiar. It might be that nagging, persistent anxiety or irritability that you just can't shake. Or maybe it's feeling like a bit of an imposter. It can also show up as finding it really hard to just be present with people, even the ones you love. And ironically, it can look like complete burnout from the very religious activities that are supposed to be giving you life. Or, just pushing down and avoiding any difficult emotions altogether. So what's the answer? What's the alternative to this? Well, let's talk about the solution, which is all about a deeper integration. This is where we introduce the idea of emotionally healthy spirituality. So what in the world does that mean? Honestly, the most important word here is integration. And listen, this is not about piling more spiritual tasks onto your already packed to-do list. It's about letting our inner life, our real emotional health, and that quiet, contemplative connection with God genuinely transform our outer life, all the things that we do.
There's this quote that just nails it perfectly. It's impossible to be spiritually mature while remaining emotionally immature. It just gets right to the heart of the matter. You can't build real, lasting spiritual maturity on a foundation of emotional immaturity. The two absolutely have to grow together.
Okay, so that's the what. But what about the how? How do we actually start to build this integration in our day-to-day lives? Let's get super practical. We're going to start with what I like to call rituals of pausing, basically creating tiny intentional moments of stillness. First up, and this one is so simple, you can do it anywhere, anytime. It's called the 2-minute pause. The name says it all, right? It's short, it's accessible, and it's incredibly powerful. Okay, here's how it works. Step 1, you just stop, whatever you're doing. Step 2, take 3 slow, deep, calming breaths. And then step 3, you do something that sounds simple but is actually kind of radical. You ask yourself, how am I actually feeling right now? Stressed, happy, annoyed, whatever it is. And then you just offer that real, honest feeling up to God. It's a tiny little act that bridges that gap between your inner world and your spiritual life. All right, so from pausing in the middle of the day, let's talk about the very beginning of the day. This is another powerful way to reconnect, and it's all about setting the tone before the chaos rushes in. This is our second ritual, the morning stillness. And this is a real game changer. Before your hand reflexively grabs your phone in the morning, just sit in silence for 1 minute. That's it. Just acknowledge you're here, a new day is starting, and maybe set one simple intention for the day. Something like, today I'm going to be present. It's an amazing way to start your day with intention instead of just reacting to whatever your phone throws at you. Okay, so we've got these rituals of pausing, but it's not just about being still and quiet by ourselves. It's also about how we bring that same intentionality into our active lives, and that's where what we can call rituals of engagement come into play. So, remember when we talked about that symptom of feeling disconnected from other people? Well, this first engagement ritual, mindful listening, is the perfect antidote. It literally transforms a normal, everyday conversation into a deep spiritual practice of connection. So, here's a little challenge for you. In your very next conversation, try this out. First, just commit to listening, really listening without interrupting or planning what you're going to say next. Second,
try to pay attention to the emotion behind their words, not just the words themselves. And third, as they're talking, you can just offer a quick silent prayer for them. It's an incredible way to honor the person in front of you.
And for our last ritual, let's tackle that feeling of burnout and anxiety head on. This one's called the Daily Gratitude Acknowledgement, and it's a super simple practice designed to help you reframe your whole perspective at the end of the day.
It's so easy. Before your head hits the pillow, just find one specific thing from your day that you're grateful for. It can be tiny: a great cup of coffee, a funny text from a friend, the sun on your face. Then, and here's the key, actually say the words "thank you" out loud. It sounds small, but over time, this little act cultivates a really deep sense of gratitude.
All right, so now we've got these 4 really powerful but simple rituals. The big question is, how do we make them a natural part of our lives instead of just another thing we should be doing? It's all about crafting your own daily rhythm.
Now hold on. Don't look at this like it's some rigid schedule you have to follow perfectly. Think of it more as inspiration, a possible roadmap. You could start your day with that morning stillness. Maybe use the 2-minute pause when you feel stressed at work. Practice mindful listening when you talk to your partner. And then end the day with gratitude. See how they can just weave into the day you're already living?
And the key to making this actually stick is to be super realistic with yourself. Seriously, don't try to be a superhero and do all 4 of these tomorrow. Just start with 1. The goal here is not perfection. The goal is presence. A great trick is to link a new ritual to a habit you already have, like doing your morning stillness right after you brush your teeth. And please remember to be kind to yourself. Your rhythm can, and it should, change as your season of life changes.
So why bother? What's the payoff for all of this? Well, it's a huge shift. It's about moving from that place we started, feeling constantly drained by all our spiritual activity, to feeling deeply rooted. Rooted in your connection to God, which then nourishes everything else that you do. It's really the difference between a tree with shallow roots that gets knocked over by any little storm and one that is so deeply anchored it can weather anything.
And that's really what I want to leave you with today. After hearing all this, I want you to just think about it for a second. What one small pause, what one simple ritual that we talked about could truly change the shape of your day tomorrow?